get their like final schedule? I know they had the schedules come home and you had to fix it. If there was, when do they get like the
That would
final?
be at Lost. It's August 17th, 18th, and 19th. It's our lockers, organizer schedules, and textbooks. They'll get that then. And then you can look at the verification just told you which courses they were actually signed up for, but not what order.
Any other questions?
All the tag teachers be on site the whole day, or are some floaters, they go from school to school during the day?
I only have one teacher who floats from school to school, and that's my French teacher. So all of my teachers are on campus.
This is in Clinton?
Ms. Clinton is just a half-time employee. She only works here, she works here half a day.
Okay. So she's the only one that wouldn't be here the full day?
Correct. Well, the only tag teacher. I have
Yeah,
other
yeah.
part-time employees.
And languages are offered only.
Seventh grade.
There's no way that they can be offered earlier.
And the thing with languages, it's a 2-year commitment. They take half of the language in 7, half of it in 8. So it's like Spanish 1A, Spanish 1B, makes Spanish 1 high school credit for 2 years together.
But if your child does speak that language fluently, read and write and everything, then you need to have a conversation with me because there are exams that they can take through UT to get credit for that. So you can contact me directly and we can talk about your child's skills and if they're appropriate for the exam or not.
What is the advisory? Is that a period that was on their schedule?
It's like their homeroom.
Oh, okay.
Where they meet in the morning, they get announcements and different things. Sometimes we do lessons and we go into the classroom.
Karen mentioned the 2 college courses for math. Is there any other college courses that they could potentially take now besides math
In high school,
in middle school?
there's no college credits in middle school at all. What the acceleration does is it gives them opportunity to earn high school credit in middle school, which then lines them up to do college while in high
Yes,
school.
okay, I'm sorry. The
That's
high-
okay.
Yeah,
It's
good, I'm
confusing.
confused. But for high school credits, is there any other courses besides math?
Yeah. There's the foreign language credits that we
Okay.
talked about, that's the 2 parts, 7th and
Okay.
8th. There is a half credit high school health class that's available in 8th grade.
Okay.
And there's the business information management class, which used to be called BCIS. And that is pretty much Microsoft Office Suite and all the applications.
Okay.
And that counts as the technology credit for high school. They can do that in 8th grade as well.
Okay, thank you.
Does the tag language arts prepare them to be accelerated in high school at all?
I would say so. I mean, the language arts, the science, and the social studies are a little different than the math. The math, you're actually accelerating TEKS-wise, and you're doing higher grade level work. With the language arts, the science, and the social studies, it's more of an expansion in the breadth and the depth and the complexity, as Ms. Ivy was talking about. I think that lines them up well for pre-AP and AP coursework later on because you're using those critical thinking skills, the problem solving, the higher order thinking skills in those tag classes, and that funnels right into the, the AP College Board type instruction. Any more questions?
I have a question. I'm actually not in the right place. I actually have a 6th grader and I have a 4th grader. But I'm very concerned what I was told about the future of the clustering. And I know it has more to do with the elementary level, that they're completely separating the kids around. They're not clustering them in elementary anymore.
I don't really know what's going on at elementary. So
Well, and my elementary principal told me that that's continuing into middle school. And I was like, time out, what does that mean? What is the direction of what?
I think you'll need to, I can't answer any question about elementary and what direction they're going.
I'm not asking about,
Okay.
I'm not asking elementary. I said, what is the future then? What does that mean then for middle school? What is happening there? The future of, are they really going to start separating them and not clustering them together and all that?
Not to my knowledge, and I would be the principal, so we're going to continue to cluster here at the middle school level when appropriate.
There's no trend to start spreading them out more.
Not that I'm aware of.
Well, and logistically, for tag teachers, they have to have a 30-hour
Right.
tag certification to do tags. So there's not a whole lot of spreading out that you can do because not all teachers have that certification and that training to deal with the unique needs of TAG students. So I can see that being an issue to scattering them.
That was my question, but I kept getting, no, the trend is to spread them out. And I didn't understand how that logistically could happen. So that's.
At the elementary, since they do pull out, you know, they're in a regular classroom, they do pull out services, maybe they're putting, you know, 3 to 5 TAG kids in each class for the regular teacher, but then pulling them out together. I mean, maybe that.
Well, this year, over at Forest Creek, this year's 4th grade is very small. They're 1. It's only 1. So it's such a small class that there's only 1 in a class.
Okay.
And it's a disaster to only have 1 person in there. And so next year isn't much bigger. And so I'm like, okay, is 6th grade going to get better? Because, but I was told that, no, that trend is going to continue. So I thought, okay, how in middle school do you spread them out and not have?
Well, and we have 3 schools feeding into us. So even if there's a small population at one elementary school of TAG kids, when they all feed in together, we typically have enough that we can cluster them for instruction. We don't have as many students identified for science and social studies. I think it's a little harder to show a need for services in those subject areas sometimes. And sometimes those kids get clustered, you know, and as I was saying, sometimes you got 5 here and 3 here, just the way it works out with the schedule. But we try, you know, for the teacher sanity and for the kids to group them together for instructional purposes.
And so when you were talking about spreading them not on one team, that's only if it's too big.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
When
do
you have
spread
the
them when
luxury-
needed.
When you have the luxury of 100, but.
Yeah,
Right.
which doesn't, I mean, does happen. I mean, it's not infrequent that we need multiple classes, especially in English and math of TAG.
Now,
Now,
are you-
math is unique because I have a standalone TAG teacher, so they just all go to her. But in English language and arts, frequently we put them.
are you talking about separating them in different classes or actually different teams? Because then that's different teachers.
Both.
Okay. Okay.
And we have, not just with the TAG program, but math as a whole, we have teachers who are not assigned to a team for math, but they're teaching math, so students might have, you know, science, social studies, and language arts on team 6-3, but then go to another math teacher that's not part of 6-3 because they're in an accelerated program or they're needing additional support or whatever. So we do have math teachers that are not tied to a team that are providing mathematics instruction as well. So kind of like Ms. McCandon for TAG. So, any other questions? And I know if you're like me, you'll have questions when this is over, and feel free to email us, because I know a lot of times I go to a training and I'm like, why didn't I think of that when I could have asked it? So feel free to email if that happens.
Yeah, my daughter was saying when she came to visit that all the, well, like the TAG students are on a team, like they all go eat lunch together, she was saying?
Yes, the whole team goes, 140
No,
of them.
the whole grade level.
Right, 140. Yeah, they'll go and sit in a certain area. She might have been talking about the table. Some
All
of the kids were concerned
412
about
of them will eat lunch together.
6-1, 6-2, 6-3, where they sit. Yes, they will sit
That's
as a
small.
team.
So will
Partners have fun.
they just, because I think she was saying that, because she has friends that aren't in TAG, so she was kind of like, well, I get to sit with my other friends too. at
If they
lunch.
have it a mix-it-up day, certain
Okay,
days that they
mix-it
have,
up,
that's,
okay.
they were a little concerned about the lunch when they came visit the work day. Yes.
As you can imagine, feeding 412 children at one time has its challenges. And so we have a system in place that we call, it's part of a larger system called positive behavior support. We have expectations for cafeteria behavior. If they're doing what they're supposed to do in the cafeteria, they can sit anywhere they want continually. They start leaving a lot of trash, noise level goes up, we move them to sit with their teams. That continues, we move them to sit in advisory. And on occasion when that continues, we send boy girl or girls on one side, boys on the other. I don't have it too often, but you know, we keep going with, okay, you haven't proven that you can do what you're expected to. But for the most part, I'd say on average they get mixed it up twice a week to sit wherever they want, and then team, so that's anybody on their team they can sit with.